Call is brought to you by Chemours. What's going on, everybody? It is your main man, Big Ivy, talking to town, Mr. DETV, CH.com, Mr. Positivity, and welcome to this episode of Business Roll Call. If you're a new business and you're watching, please put the name of your business website in the comments below because I want to make sure that we give it a shout out. The whole idea of Business Roll Call is for you to use my platform to just show people what you're doing. It's been working well over the past, 5 years, and we're just going to keep it going. But today I have a special guest, and I'm happy to have him here. It's the first interview that he has done as the new CEO of Chemours from University of Waterloo to here now in Wilmington, Mr. Mark Newman. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, Ivan. Really great to be with you, man.
Oh man, glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's it like being Mark Newman? You got a cape on your back. You're the Superman. What's happening?
It's been an amazing journey. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to lead such a great company,
right?
A Wilmington-based company.
Yeah.
We have so much ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I'm just delighted and blessed to be in this role.
Awesome. And I know everyone over at Chemours is happy. But most of all, I want to say this. A lot of people, a lot of HBCU students are happy. And we'll touch on that in a little bit.
Yes.
So you're here now in Wilmington, Delaware. What can Chemours expect from you?
You know, we've been a major contributor to the city of Wilmington. And we've been a major participant in the state of Delaware. Mm-hmm. We have our global corporate headquarters here in the DuPont building, right here in Wilmington. And then just recently, in fact, last year, we completed our Chemours Discovery Hub, which is our R&D center, invested over $200 million in a one-of-a-kind facility.
Right.
Significant capability. So what you should expect from us, Ivan, is we're here, we're going to contribute, and we're going to make a difference. And so we're making a difference already, and we want to keep doing that even more.
It's making a difference, right?
Yes.
Making a difference in Wilmington, and in forecasting, Wilmington is a beautiful city.
Yes, sir.
What do you see in the next 3 to 5 years where Wilmington can be at its best? What do you see?
Well, clearly, there's an economic aspect to that. We want to be a major contributor to that. We are very involved in STEM education.
Yes.
In providing and enabling students from Wilmington and other communities in which we participate to pursue education in STEM. So we actually see, a very deep partnership here with government officials, with the mayor, and with the community more broadly. We are major participants in all of the United Way charities, for example.
Right.
A few years ago, we instituted our Chemours Day of Service here in the city. We do it on Dr. Martin Luther King Day. We think, he was emblematic of the greater good.
Right.
And people should expect that from Chemours wherever we operate in any community, including the city of Wilmington.
That's what I wanted to talk about. What could the residents here, the city, the organizations expect from Chemours? Now, there's been a lot of organizations that have been here before.
Right.
They just come in hit and miss, right?
Yes.
They just try to get people's attention. But my audience, the small business community, the mom and pop stores, the grandmom that saved her money to send her kids to college, what message do you have?
Yes.
To my viewers that are watching about you or you and Chemours?
Well, the first message is if you're thinking of setting up shop, Wilmington is a great place to be.
There you go.
All
okay.
right. So that would be the first message. Clearly, we want to make an economic contribution by having several hundred employees based here in Wilmington and supporting businesses in our community. And then beyond that is really how can we start to impact the next generation in the city. So we started first, with Future of Chemistry scholarships. That's now been embraced by the chemical industry, by the way. We now have the Future of STEM scholarships, which is providing 150 scholarships a year and internship to underprivileged children going to historically black colleges and universities.
Yeah.
So that started with Chemours in Wilmington,
Yeah.
and now is industry-wide.
And at first, I want to say that you started with, and that's a partnership with Ashley Christopher and HBCU Week, correct?
That's correct.
Right, and I think when it first started, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it was 5 scholarships, 4 or 5 scholarships that now has grown to 150 students, 150 scholarships a year. Let's add that a
yes,
year.
Sir.
Because that's
yes, yes, that's meaningful.
So can you? And I know you can. I know
Right.
you can imagine what that is going to do to the future students, the future educators, when they're going to college and they're like, I now have a chance. I now have an opportunity.
So we actually started with 1 student the first year, and I was very involved with this. This is an idea that came out of our Chemours Black Employee Network.
Yeah.
We have several ERGs, employee resource groups, and that idea gelled. This is what we can do. And we took it to the leadership team at Chemours. It was embraced, and then now it's industry-wide.
Yeah.
So we want to make a difference, and we've focused first on STEM education at a university level, but we are actually now in investigation of, well, how can we start earlier? How
Right.
can we affect the lives of young people earlier, so in grade school, so that we can influence outcomes as it relates to STEM education and greater economic opportunity for the next generation.
Yeah, amazing. I heard you say something about leadership, right? No, matter of fact, no, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I want you to take your Chemours hat off for a minute, and I want you to just talk, Mark and Ivan, okay?
Okay.
Mark and Ivan. You and your family are awesome with just philanthropy, right? I want to know why. Why do you do what you do? You know, like I know, the people that I talk to, we come from nothing.
Yeah.
And we make sure, and when we get something, we make sure we make a difference.
Right.
So in that, we create, and life develops a why. What is your why?
My why is the more you give, the more you receive.
Is that simple?
It is. It is.
That's biblical right there.
It is, but it's true.
Right.
And the good book says, "Well pressed down and running over."
And runneth over.
All right.
Can I get an amen from the congregation?
No, I've fundamentally believed all my life, and my spouse Kathleen believes the same. We live blessed lives, and if you can help another person, it actually enriches your own life even more. And I believe a lot of Chemours employees also feel that way. So I feel as a company, it's part of our culture of giving,
right,
and making a difference.
How important is culture to business?
It's huge.
How
huge.
so?
If I could give you countless examples of where culture makes a difference, but I'll give you a couple. COVID-19, global pandemic. We realized early on that our employees in mainland China needed help. They needed help with PPE. Those same employees later on realized we didn't have enough PPE here in America. Our obsession with safety, keeping each other safe. Our North Star was keep our employees safe,
right,
so they can support their families and their communities,
right,
and service our customers, obviously. So our cultural values, whether it's safety obsession or whether it's collective entrepreneurship, when I look at our performance during COVID-19, to me, a lot of it had to do with culture. And it has to do with decisions that people make when leaders are not around.
There you go. All right.
By the way, in a global company, you can't see what somebody's doing in India right now. In fact, you might be asleep while they're working with a customer.
Right.
So we had employees, for example, reach out to other employees in Taiwan to get oxygen concentrators to Delhi And we had so many concentrators, we gave them to the local community.
Nice.
So this is that type of thing that really enriches an organization, and also helps you to attract and retain the very best people.
Right. How important is that to business?
That is key, especially today as we emerge from COVID-19 and there's more job opportunities for so many people. I think just being a company that is different and a company that people feel safe to be in, they can be themselves.
Right.
As you know, I'm from Jamaica. I don't try to not speak with a Jamaican accent in Chemours.
Right.
We want people to be themselves. So it's that aspect of being yourself, being your best self, and then living the values of the company that really enrich the experience of every employee.
Being from Jamaica, CEO, brand new at Chemours. Talk to me about diversity within Chemours.
Well, Chemours Chemours has significant interest and effort in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Maybe just a little bit about my role. I was, when we spun, an early sponsor of the Chemours Black Employee Network. Jamaican father, Canadian mother. I came into this understanding, the need to support our Black employees early on.
Right.
Today, until this appointment, today, I've been the executive sponsor of our Inclusion Council. But we are monitoring and investing behind, both ethnic diversity within Chemours as well as gender diversity.
Right.
And so there's a concerted effort. And then I'd say when you look at the Chemours senior executive leadership team, it's one of the most diverse in the industry. And it's not lost on me that there are very few Black CEOs in America. So I think it's huge.
Right.
And I think our employees really embrace what we're trying to do.
Awesome. I have to. So there's so much I want to say right now. We only got a half an hour. We might need a part 3 or 4 for this. We're being hosted today at Milk and Honey.
Yes,
Quincy's an awesome guy with an awesome vision, and the culture of Milk and Honey is community.
Yes.
And so we want to say special thanks to Milk and Honey and Quincy for hosting us today. What message do you have for small businesses in Wilmington that are struggling with leadership?
Right.
Because that's a huge part of business, and a lot of people don't understand the roles of a leader or even understand what leadership means.
Well, let me tell you some of the things we have done. What we found out is the experience of an employee is highly dependent on the quality of their leader. Right?
What's that mean? Wait a minute. Rewind. Rewind selector. One more time, because that's very important.
Yeah, the experience of an employee is highly dependent on their individual leader, right? So we can be talking about all these things up here at Chemours. If your leader in the company is not inspiring, is not open and trusting, your experience as a Chemours employee is most significantly impacted by that. So what we did last year is we brought out a leadership effectiveness index. We allow employees to give direct feedback, anonymous direct feedback about their leader, and we're using that feedback to help the leader with leadership development. Nice. So it's like we can say, look, this is not hearsay. We surveyed your employees. Here's what they feel about you, anonymously, so there's no fear of speaking up. But we're not here to penalize you. We're here to help you develop.
Right.
There's so much leadership development training available. Clearly, as a company of our size, we're doing things to help customize it for the type of environment that we're in. But I'm sure there's a lot of resources available for leadership development. But it starts with an assessment of leaders first before you can say, well, you really need help in, courageous conversations. You need help in being open and trusting,
Let me ask you this. And if you're tuning in, again, this is the Delaware Business Role Call with DETV and myself, Ivan Thomas, and I'm here with the new CEO of Chemours, Mark Newman. So put your name of your business in the comments below, and just do it. Go ahead and just do it right now. What other? Let me ask you this: problems within small business. What problems have you seen that that can destroy a small business?
Well, clearly, when Chemours spun out of DuPont, when we started 6 years ago, 6 years to the day. Day, we realized there was so much to do around just the financial management of the business. Clearly, a business model has to, as we say in Chemours, if you're not growing with your customer, you're not growing, right? So much starts with anchoring yourself on how do you add value to the customer? How do you excite the customer? How do you go beyond customer expectations? So when people come into the office and they talk about the experience they had at your business, it makes other people want to do business with you. And we have realized at Chemours that there has to be a relentless customer focus. You have to understand that your customer at some level is already dissatisfied with you, even though you think customers are happy with you. So what is it about your interaction that's not generating the highest level of satisfaction? So for example, at Chemours, we're very excited about the products that we produce. But so much of our interaction with the customer was archaic. We didn't have an online portal, so customers couldn't track their order without making a phone call. Today, that's all electronic. People can see where their order is. I mean, it's that sort of fundamental understanding of the customer. Then clearly, the other thing that we've learned is invest behind what differentiates you from somebody else.
There you go.
Right. Don't try and copy. There'll be 1,000 people saying, hey, that person across the street is doing this. You ought to do that. But that may not be your thing. Right. And so at Chemours, quite often we get told, well, some product from China produces is cheaper. And we're like, well, that's not our thing. Right? Because when your plant goes down in the middle of the night, our technology people will be right there helping you sort it out. I don't think you're going to get that from the other supplier.
Cheaper's not bad.
Not always.
Not always.
Right.
How important is marketing and advertising to small businesses? Because what I see personally, and being here in media, like a lot of businesses, they just don't market. It's not even in their a line item in their plans.
I would say it is an important element. Clearly, you can overplay it in the sense of you have to think prudently about spending. But certainly what we have found is online channels make a lot of that a lot less costly than they used to be, and can be a lot more targeted. So in our own experience, and as I think about small businesses, just the whole ease of interaction. Even in our building, the restaurants we use, the fact that I can order from my desk and it's ready when I go downstairs means I'm going to use that restaurant, not one across town.
It's convenient.
It's
convenient.
It
is.
Right there.
Yeah. So and I see, like, when you ride by your building, the Chemours color scheme is everywhere.
It's right here.
It's right there. It's everywhere. It's in the lobby.
Close to your heart.
Close to your heart.
Right.
Wow. It's you ride by and you see that beautiful lobby on Market Street. You're like, okay, it's Chemours. It's Chemours. I love it. All right, we got a couple minutes left. But what I want to know now, what makes Mark take? That should be just like the whole segment. All right. What's your favorite food?
Well, I turned vegan a while ago.
Did you?
Yes.
I knew something was up because you turned down everything that I offered you. Okay. How you feel?
I feel great. I did it because I wanted to be healthier. I grew up in Jamaica, so
Enough said.
I love all the Jamaican
Right.
food. You know, there was a time when curry goat was the favorite food.
Right.
But now I'd have to have something curried that's vegetarian.
That takes its place.
You know?
Was it hard for you switching over?
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, you know, my wife Kathleen is vegan, so you know when you have somebody to help you,
It's easier that way.
It is easy.
My
Yes.
one of my guys, right, just turned vegan.
Yes.
And we teasing him and everything, but he's been holding on. you
But
know?
but if you come to my house, I can cook you a wicked rice and peas.
A curry rice and peas?
No.
No, just rice
So
and
in
peas.
Jamaica, we cook. It's actually red kidney beans.
Okay.
But we
Yes.
use African red peas in Jamaica, and it's rice with coconut milk
Okay.
and the beans.
So you're making my guy
and of
hungry
course
now.
some Scotch bonnet pepper,
Oh.
so that when you eat in the rice, you have the flavor of the pepper.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
so I have to bring you some.
I'ma hold you to that.
I think you're a man that would like
Oh,
rice and peas.
do I look like I turned down anything? Your favorite song?
Well, everybody at work would say we're jamming, you know, by Bob Marley.
Okay,
You know,
Bob Marley.
I grew up on Bob Marley
Okay.
in Jamaica.
Right.
There's a lot of, I'm listening to more Chronics now, which is more conscious.
Okay.
Another Jamaican. But you know, so many of the Bob Marley songs are really inspiring.
Yes,
you know?
all of them are. Yeah.
You know, and not many people know.
Right.
Bob Marley spent time right here in
Right here.
Wilmington.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when I found that out, I was like, yes, we're jamming right straight from yard.
Straight from the yard.
Yeah,
right.
straight from yard.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love it. What is one of the hardest things that you went through in your life, and how did you come through it?
I'd have to say, you know, coming to America and really making the best of the opportunity, you know, bringing my family here, my wife and 2 children from Canada. I remember working in New York City, like, you know, 20-hour days and renting a house after selling a house in Canada. And it was like, wow, is this going to be worth it? And then, you know, experiencing, you know, the whole aspect of race in a real way in America and understanding what it meant. Obviously, I became an American citizen, and looking back now to 1995 when we first moved here, you know, it has been a great journey.
Nice.
And so I'm happy to be in America. I'm happy to be on this journey, and I feel like there's so much ahead. That whatever adversity you've been through. And as the team knows, you know, when the early days of Chemours were pretty rough, you know, when we started. And I remind people all the time, you know, in adversity, there's opportunity. And so I just think every time I find myself in that position, I just remind myself there's opportunity here somehow.
You're speaking, I'm like real conscious. Like, what happened?
Well, I consider myself a person of faith. And I've learned a lot from life's experiences that just reinforce the positive, you know? And so, and I feel like I've interacted with so many people who themselves, by their positive outlook and their desire to make a difference, have really been impactful on me personally.
Nice. Your favorite books?
Wow. Well, that would be hard because I've read a lot of management books. In fact, the book I'm reading now is How to Avoid a Planet Disaster, because so much of what we're looking at as a company is how to be more sustainable.
Right.
My whole thing in reading is to really improve me as a leader. So a lot of what I'm reading today is about leadership.
Awesome. Awesome. If you could write a letter to your 10-year-old self,
Wow.
what would it say?
Wow, that's hard. It would be walk good, you know, just do the right thing.
Right.
The right thing always is going to pay off.
Right.
It may feel like the hard thing. I'd say, you know, truth is beautiful. So focus on what is really true. And I say this to the leadership team all the time. Hey, I'd rather know what the truth is than you sugarcoat it and I find out 2 weeks later that that's not the real situation.
Right.
Because when we deal with truth, no matter how ugly it is, we make a difference.
That's the story of life
Yes.
right there. Mark, thank you so much.
Thanks.
I really appreciate you.
Really appreciate it.
You really dropped some jewels today and inspired a lot of people in my community. So thanks again for your time.
I'm glad you could have me on.
Oh, anytime, man, anytime. I just want that red beans and rice.
Coming up.
Right. There you have it. The new CEO of Chemours, Mark Newman, here on DETV. Again, if you just tuned in, hit rewind, go back and watch this amazing interview, and hopefully you will be inspired. It's not just about business, but it's about building a better life as well. I'm your man, Big Ive, talking to town. And again, thank you to Quincy, the owner, and the wonderful establishment, Milk and Honey on Market Street. And make sure you travel on Union Street to the second location. I'm your main man, Big Ive. You are watching DETV.